Hello, everyone. Welcome to this month's Dice Talk. It's fantastic to have you here. I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Because yes, to show you what you know already, which the Dice Talk today is going to be a conversation with Dr. Patricia Medici. And yeah, it's fantastic that she's been able to join us. Just to give my usual housekeeping slide, just to remind you that these Dice Talks happen once a month. And if you'd like to be on our mailing list, please go to that link there to sign up to the MailChimp mailing list, and then you'll find out about the upcoming talks. So yeah, for next month, we're still in the process of sorting that out, but to flag up an early thing that Professor Eric Maillard will be doing the DICE annual lecture this year, talking about orangutan conservation and conservation in Indonesia. So that's something to be aware of. But today, I'm delighted to be able to talk to Dr. Patti Medici. And we will almost certainly start talking about tapirs at some point. I thought I should include this photo here for people who sadly in their life have never seen a picture of a tapir before. So you know what we're talking about. This is a beautiful photo of a young tapir there with an adult in the background. And yeah, so now we'll go on with this Dice Talk. So this is the slightly awkward bit where I turn PowerPoint off and say, hello, Patti. It's so lovely to see you. Thank you for being here to be part of the Dice Talk series.
No, I'm super grateful to be here. Very, very happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
And yes, I thought it would be helpful just to give a little introduction about your, well, we'll talk about your background, but in terms of your current roles, which are many and various. So you're obviously a research coordinator for the Institute for Ecological Research in Brazil. I'm afraid, as my Portuguese, Brazilian and Mozambican friends know, my Portuguese is almost non-existent, so I won't be using the Portuguese proper words for this. But Patti's also the chair of the IUCN Species Survival Commission for the Tapir Specialist Group. She's a lecturer, and she's also a TED Fellow, a research associate for the Smithsonian and a National Geographic Explorer. And normally I would say that Patti is a sort of unsung hero. So often people who do amazing work in conservation aren't recognized, but actually in her case, that's not true, because she's been awarded an amazing array of awards, starting in 2004 with the Harry Messel Conservation Leadership Award. She's a nominee for the Indianapolis Prize in 2014. She's got a TED Fellowship, William J. Conway International Conservation Award, and for an amazing number of Whitley Awards, and including the Whitley Gold Award that she won last year. So yes, I mean, it's lovely to be able to talk to you now. Last time I saw you speaking was when you were receiving the Whitley Gold Award over Zoom last year. And yeah, just wanted to share how incredibly proud we are of everything that you've achieved. And as I said, you know, very, very well deserved. So yeah, I know that lots of people listening today really want to hear from you and to find out more about that work and to hear you talk more about conservation. So my standard opening question is, what have you been doing this week?
Not very exciting, actually, because we're on lockdown here in Campo Grande, where I'm based. I'm in the very center of South America, right next to the border with Bolivia and Paraguay, and we're on lockdown. So we've been working in the office, and my kids homeschooling right next to me. So it's not exciting at all, but it's part of what we do.
Yeah, so I mean, in terms of people not being able to go out into the field, what impact is that having on your work?
It had a big impact last year because we were planning to start our Amazon program in 2020, but because of the pandemic, we were not able to go up north. So we had to stay here in Mato Grosso do Sul, and we had to focus most of the field work in the Pantanal and in the Atlantic forest. So a program that we were planning to establish, we were not able to do that.
And do you think you'll be able to establish it once the pandemic is over, which hopefully won't be too long?
Yes, we're just not sure if it's going to be this year. We'll have to wait and see. As you probably heard, the situation here in Brazil is a bit of a mess at the moment. So we're just now trying to stay out of trouble, stay home, and hoping the vaccines will get here at some point soon. But yes, as we have everything ready, everything is
great. And another sort of fairly standard question from me is, what did you want to be when you grew up? What did you want to do when you were little?
I wanted to be an architect, which was crazy, but we lived in this small property right outside of São Paulo city in the middle of the Atlantic forest. And the main thing for us kids in that place was to build huts. So we would go to the forest and collect all kinds of forest materials and palm leaves and all that kind of stuff and build huts. So I think my desire to be an architect came from that, but then I changed my mind because I was growing up in nature. I also had that other side of the coin. I liked nature. I loved animals, and thank God I realized that I didn't want to be an architect and stay stuck in an office for the rest of my life.
Yeah, that was not an answer I was expecting.
Yeah, I know.
And then, so was it sort of from school that you started focusing your work on nature and the more sort of biological side?
No, actually 2 weeks before taking the exams to go to college, I still wanted to be an architect. And my school, my high school, every year they had a meeting, a weekend where they brought all kinds of professionals from all kinds of backgrounds to talk to the students. So they had a doctor, they had a dentist, they had everything. And I went to talk to the architect, just, to exchange ideas. And he was so boring. He was boring. He couldn't be less passionate about what he did. I didn't see any excitement about the work, about his profession. And I was super disappointed. And a friend of mine, she wanted to be a forestry engineer. I'm not a biologist, I'm a forestry engineer, actually. So I went with her to talk to the engineer, to the forester, and he was super passionate, and he worked with wildlife management, kind of old school wildlife management. And I could see, the eye shining and how he talked about, working with animals. And so that changed my life, if you will, because 2 weeks after that, I applied to take the exam for forestry engineering and decided that I wanted to work with wildlife.
So in a way, the architect also inspired your career as well. You were lucky that you spoke to a really boring architect.
I'm very lucky, super lucky. I thank him every night.
And I was just looking at your CV. I saw that you did your master's project on black lion tamarins. Is that right?
Yeah. It was a translocation experiment. We translocated a group of lion tamarins from one patch of forest to a different patch of forest, a population we were trying to create. Yes.
So was that an existing project that you joined?
Yes, it was. When I got out of college, we had already founded IPE, my institution, and that program was already ongoing, and we were looking for someone to coordinate the activities of that program. So we decided I was the best person to do that at that point. I was just getting out of college. I was ready to go to the field. And so I took over from somebody else, yes. But very soon I realized I didn't want to be a primatologist.
Why not?
Yeah, no, because you have to be looking up all the time, and I don't like that. No, and I always had this. I was always very interested about large mammals, large terrestrial mammals. So the tapir was perfect for me.
Yeah. And so, yes, I wanted to ask you about IPE, and so this organization that you're one of the founders of. What advice would you give to people who are also thinking of setting up an institution like that? Sort of what would you tell them to do? What skills do you think they would need to succeed in that role?
It's a very broad question, but IPE, our organization, came from a dream. A small group of people, a couple primatologists and an environmental educator, Claudio and Susana Pado, and they wanted to dedicate their lives to species conservation in Brazil, and there was a gap at that point. It was 1992 here in the country, and they surrounded themselves with a group of students, myself included, to help them establish the programs, found the organization, get started. So it was a group of 10 of us. It is a lot of work to keep an organization, a nonprofit going like this for almost 30 years now. It's a lot of work that we love to do, like being in the field and collecting data, all the science, all the conservation action, all of that. But there is also the other side, all the administration, funding, fundraising, and all of that. So my advice is be prepared to do a bunch of things that you never thought you would have to do. It's mostly that, because we don't get to spend 100% of our time in the field all the time, or talking science or writing publications. We spend quite a bit of time doing lots of things that sometimes feels like a waste of time, but it's not. It's very important. So be prepared to develop lots of things that you don't have.
Sure. So following on from that, again, one of my sort of standard questions is, what aspect of your job did you expect to hate, but you actually like?
Fundraising. In the beginning, when I realized that I had to raise funds for the work I was supposed to do, it was a bit of a shock. And we're not prepared to do that when we go through college, when we go through university. We don't have a course on how to raise funds. We don't have a course on how to communicate the conservation cause. And then once we're out there, we suddenly realize we have to do that. And fundraising is something I had to write proposals in English, which was my I had to learn how to do that. It was intimidating, establishing a network, finding the right niche for the program. I really thought I would hate it and suffer for the rest of my life. But as it turns out, I kind of developed, I like it. Now I love doing this, and I use the process of raising funds for our conservation work here in Brazil. I use it as a way to establish even personal relationships and friendships, and a nice network of supporters. And I like it very much. And I would say the same with communication. We're used to talking to we make jokes about this. We talk to the converted, right? In conferences and meetings, but I kind of like talking to the general public as well, using communication tools to tell the story about tapirs. And that's something I also thought I would hate, but I love it very much, actually.
So in terms of the people that fund your work, is this now based on sort of long-term relationships, or are there new people coming in sort of over time?
There's new people coming in every year. We actually make a conscious effort to find new donors every year so that we keep the pool of donors fresh, and we keep it going. but most of our donors, they've been with us for more than a decade now, some of them for decades, for 20 years. So we have some of these relationships, some of these partnerships we've been cultivating throughout the years. And that's a very important part of raising funds. It's cultivating those relationships and making sure that it's a partnership and not an ATM machine kind of relationship. It's different from that, and we have to make sure that the donors feel part of what we do.
And how do you find the new people?
It's a detective work. It's you just have to spend a few hours every week just looking for opportunities, searching the web, and there's tons of directories of potential donors out there. So it's just a matter of paying constant attention to possibilities. And not only myself, but also the members of my team, everybody. And we have different, how do you say, different fronts. So foundations, conservation funds from zoos, private donors, corporations, all kinds of possibilities. And we try and explore, just make, detective work all the time, looking for opportunities.
Great. Yeah, so now to come on to sort of a few broader questions. One that I think we've had lots of interesting insights from is the which book that's not about conservation should every conservationist read?
I'm not sure every conservationist, but I think that every human being should read the autobiography of a yogi. I'm besides being a conservationist, I'm a yogi, and I love it. And I think it's a book that we have to read it. It's good, good advice, good culture for our lives, and how to perceive life and how to perceive whatever the search that some of us go through. So yes. The autobiography of a yogi.
So how long have you sort of known about this? When did you first read about this? How long has it been in your life?
3 years ago. 3 years ago, somebody gave me
okay.
the book. Yes, so this is new. It's the author is called Paramahansa Yogananda. He was the person who brought yoga to the United States and then outside of India. So.
And how would you say it sort of changed? You talked sort of broadly about how it gives you a different worldview. Is there anything sort of specific that you've seen it changing your approach?
I think it makes you think that happiness is inside and not necessarily outside, as we're constantly looking for it outside. It also makes it clear that we can look for happiness, that we should look for happiness in nature. And so for me, it was kind of, I was suddenly told that it was okay to how do you say, to search for spirituality in nature and not in churches or places that most people go and look for it. So it works for me.
Yeah, fantastic. And what do you think is the thing that you do that most benefits conservation?
Training. I think that the training component, the capacity building component of the work we do is one of the major contributions we make. We have hundreds of students and professionals, master students, PhD students, volunteers, all kinds of interns, people coming from all over the world to join field expeditions with us, to have that hands-on experience in the field, in the different sites where we work. And I think that's a wonderful contribution we make, preparing the conservationists of the future, because we'll need them. We already do need them. So yes.
Sure. Yes. And what advice do you give to these students about sort of starting a career in conservation?
Just get out there and try to get as many opportunities as you can. Just, as I said, internships, volunteer. When I started, I would spend all my holidays, all my weekends in the field with some researcher. I would always look for places to go, working on monkeys and jaguars and all kinds of projects, and just getting that experience, because that helps build your portfolio, that helps you build your experience, and that makes it easier for you to get started when the time comes.
Great, yeah. So to talk about in terms of questions about being in the field, again, one of our questions is, have you ever been outwitted by an animal? And if so, which animal, when, and how?
It was a tapir, of course. We captured this tiny baby tapir, and in one of our box traps, and he was super cute, little baby watermelon. So once we got there, he was all nice and cute, looking at us, beautiful little eyes, and very, very calm. And as soon as we got closer, he turned into a devil. He was, you could see that he was really mad. He was really aggressive. He was jumping up and down. He was showing teeth, and which was very unusual for a little baby. Baby tapirs, they're usually super docile. So we didn't know where the mom was, but we were 100% sure that she was around. That's what they do. Sometimes we catch the female and the baby just stays around, and if we catch the offspring, the mom is usually around. They don't walk away. And so we released him super fast, just to make sure that he could go and find his mom, but he never left. He just stayed. And at some point we opened the door, he went outside, but he would, he would keep running around the trap. At some point we had to go into the trap and close the door and just stay there. So we were captured by this tapir, and we were there for about, I don't know, 1 hour, an hour and a half, until he finally decided to go and we could get out. So that was ridiculous. I'm so embarrassed by the whole situation.
I mean, with the adults, can it be dangerous? I mean, you say, they're big beasts.
Yeah, we're always careful. We're always extremely careful. They're gentle animals. They're not aggressive, but a female with a baby, you have to be careful. They're very protective, as many other animals. When we catch them, when we manipulate them, we anesthetize them, we install the collars and everything, we're always very, very conscious of the safety of the animal and the safety of the team. But whenever you release them, whenever we do what we have to do, we run the procedure, we install the collar, we collect samples and everything, we reverse the anesthesia, and we let them go. And they usually just, adults, subadults, young, they get out and they run, they go home. But this guy, he just didn't want to live. So his name is Lucifer. We named him Lucifer.
Is he still out there?
Yeah.
Are you? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's 6 years old now.
How's he getting on?
Yeah, he's a dispersing male. We captured him many times after that. At some point, he was big enough for a radio collar, so we gave him a GPS collar, and we saw the whole process of he explored the surroundings of the home range of his mom. So we saw him like going and exploring and trying to find where to go once he dispersed. So it was very interesting. We got some really good data out of Lucifer.
And has he behaved ever since, or do you still have trouble
We captured him. I think it was 5 or 6 times. The first time was like that, like I told. The second, third time he was still very aggressive, but then he grew out of it. He became a normal tapir, normal gentle tapir.
Excellent. And so these box traps that you talk about, I've seen the photos. How much time does it take to prepare, and sort of how solid do they need to be?
They have to be rock solid because tapirs are, they're big, they're super strong. So we use these fence posts on the sides, on the four sides of the trap, and they have to go under the ground about a meter and a half. They have to go very deep, so the structure is very strong. Yeah, so, and it takes about a whole day, a full day to build one of those. But you can move them. You can dismantle them and take all the materials and build them again somewhere else. But it's a bit of a nightmare when we have to do that. It's a lot of work.
And has your group sort of adapted those traps? Where did the original idea come from?
We started using those traps in the Atlantic Forest in Morro do Diabo State Park, where we started. And hunters from that region actually taught us how to build those traps, and the little trigger that we use. There's a whole system, a little trigger, and the rope that's tied to the door. There's a whole technology behind that trap, and we learned all of that from hunters in the Atlantic Forest. But it's an amazing trap. It's very safe. It's planks of wood, so the animals are contained, and they don't really see what's going on outside. So most of the times they keep very, very calm. It's a very controlled situation, and you catch lots of animals from the same area, which is good. So it's a trap that has a really good cost benefit.
Great, yeah. So are people using those traps to hunt tapirs still? Is that still a big issue in Brazil?
No, it's too expensive. It's a lot of work. So now when people hunt, they build platforms up in the trees, and they have a little bait station here on the ground, and they just wait and shoot the animals from up there, or from boats when they keep going up and down the rivers, and when they see the animals near the riverbank, they shoot them. So yeah, no, it's very expensive.
Okay, and is that still a major threat, people directly hunting them?
It depends where you are in the distribution of lowland tapirs. If you think like the Pantanal, the floodplains where we work, people don't really hunt in the Pantanal. We have the feral pigs, the domestic pigs that have been introduced to that region 200 years ago. So the culture of the people in the Pantanal is, what they like to do is to kill the feral pigs. There is a whole system that they use. That was my husband's, Arno's PhD
course,
at DICE.
Yes.
Yeah. So people don't really hunt wild animals. It's a really nice example of a place where an introduced species actually prevents the hunting of wild animals. But if you go to the Atlantic Forest, to the Cerrado, and the Amazon, where you have the indigenous communities, yes, hunting mostly for meat is one of the threats, because it's not sustainable.
Sure, yeah. And what would you say is your favorite place for wildlife?
The Pantanal, no doubt. The Pantanal, the largest continuous freshwater floodplain in the planet. You have to see it. Every human being has to see the Pantanal.
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to spend a week there after the SCB conference in Brasilia. And wow. Yeah, an amazing place. But as someone who spent time in Africa, it just seemed really strange in terms of not many antelopes, but you know, and anteater's relatively easy to see, and you know, the peccaries, it was just a completely different system to what I
Yeah,
was expecting. I mean, I guess from, you know, from Europe as well, you would expect to see more antelopes.
yeah.
So yeah, it was an amazing place, but really strange as well.
Yeah, yeah, it's a different experience. We have 4 species of deer, but yeah, you don't see the numbers are different. The numbers of animals that you see are very, very different. But it's just, and it's all the different seasons. During the dry season, you see, you know, the mammals near the water holes, and in the wet season, it's water everywhere. Like right now, it's flooded, so you go there to see the birds. They're everywhere, and it's just, it's magnificent. It's my favorite place on the face of the earth.
Well, to stop people feeling too jealous, I then wanted to ask you, what's your worst encounter with parasites?
Well, we deal with ticks all the time, but here they're clean here in Brazil, so it's not, we're not worried about Lyme disease or any of that. They're very, very clean when it comes to diseases. But I think that the worst, it's bot flies. Bot flies is just, it's just, yeah, it's gross. The first time I came to the field with the black line tamarind team from my PE, I got 44 bot flies, 11 of those on my head. And you feel when they move, right? I don't know if you have ever had a bot fly? You
I've
feel when
always
they're,
lived in fear.
yeah, they're wiggling inside your skin. So yeah, it's horrible.
And to take a step up from that, well, I'm almost certain that you've been bitten by a wild animal. What's the worst thing you found for being very bitey?
It was a black line tamarind, actually.
Ah.
In the beginning of my career, we would catch the groups of tamarinds every 3-4 months, because we had to replace the telemetry collar, the little collar that we gave them. So we had the whole system to catch them, to recapture them, and we did everything without anesthesia because they're little. You just you just hold them, and then somebody comes and removes one collar, just installs the other collar. But this little guy, he somehow, I was wearing those hard leather gloves so that they wouldn't bite my fingers, but somehow he got this part of my hand, the little fat part here. Yeah, so not very exciting, I know, but it's a threatened species.
Threatened species, yeah. Well, yeah. And I mean, did it draw blood? Did it hold on? How?
Yeah, it was pretty bloody, and as it turns out, we finished what we had to do. It was dark, and so we let them go, the whole group together. We catch them together and we let them go together. And so they left, and then we looked at each other, and nobody knew, we didn't know where we were. We were in the middle of the forest. We had trails and everything, but we how do you say, we walked out of the trail to follow the group. So we had no flashlights. We were lost until, I don't know, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., something like that. It took us several hours to get out of that little forest. And yeah, so.
It's an exciting day.
But
when I mentioned the tamarinds at the beginning, you didn't seem terribly excited, and now I can see why. They yeah, they're obviously
it's trauma.
A lot of hassle.
It's traumatic. Yeah.
So to ask you hopefully a more relaxing question, and also because I remembered that actually some people listen to this while eating their dinner, so apologies to those people who've just heard about bloodshed and parasites. But what's your favorite tree?
Oh, it's the national tree of Brazil. It's called Ipe, which is the name of it's the name of our institution, Ipe. And we have four types of Ipe. It's tabebuia, it's hardwood, very valuable, very endangered species here in Brazil. Most people around the world know what Ipe is. And we have four types: the yellow Ipe, the white, the purple, and the pink. And in places like the Pantanal, if you go to the Pantanal when the ipes are flowering, doesn't matter which color, it's just magic. It's a carpet of yellow or a carpet of pink. It's amazing.
Lovely, lovely. So in the Pantanal, there's still quite a few of them left, even though they're threatened.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's quite a few projects. How do you say in English? Companies that plant ipes for the production of timber for construction, for furniture. But it's complicated because it's hard to know if you're buying certified ipe timber or not. So it's a tricky one. There's lots of people selling supposedly certified ipe when it's not. So, but yeah, you can still see lots of ipe in the Pantanal, in certain places in the Cerrado. Here, the city where I live, Campo Grande, it's known as the city of ipes. So the whole city has ipes planted along the streets and the main avenues. It's beautiful.
And presumably fairly slow growing if it's hardwood.
Yeah, 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 super slow, years and years and years. We have 3 here in the garden, 4, and it takes forever. It takes forever. Yeah.
So yeah, talking about rarity, what would you say is the rarest thing you've seen?
It's a duck. I actually looked it up. South American diving duck. The genus is Mergus. It's endemic to Brazil. It's super, super rare. Arnaud and I, my husband and I, we went to this little town in Minas Gerais we went for some hiking. And the owners of the place where we were staying, they said, well, you're going to go hiking. So if you see this duck, they showed us a picture, you have to please write down the place where you saw them, how many you saw, the time of the day, everything, because this is precious information for this group of researchers working here in the region. And we saw them twice in this waterfall. So yes, that was super, super special. Nobody really believes when we tell people that we saw them twice.
So do you think that's because you're good field biologists, or was it just pure luck?
Not really, because no, it was pure luck. And actually, when I saw them, I got so excited that I screamed my lungs off. And Arnaud, why the hell are you doing that? You're supposed to be quiet. It's an endangered species. We're supposed to, record all the information, and you're screaming like a maniac. So, yeah. The second time I screamed again. Of course, yeah. I usually have these kinds of reactions when I see animals, and I'm very excited. I scream, or I'm never like a quiet. I'm never in quiet contemplation.
And with being the chair of the tapir specialist group, how many tapir species have you seen in the wild?
Ooh, I saw lowland tapirs and Baird's tapirs. I've never seen a Himalayan tapir in the wild, and I've never seen a mountain tapir in the wild. I've seen them in zoos, but not in the wild.
Yeah, I mean, I know people who've worked in Sumatra. Well, yes, Matt Linky, I think, has seen one once. And yeah, just incredibly difficult to see. But it came into his camp.
I tried, but I didn't. I couldn't see one. But yeah, I would love to.
And to ask a potentially sensitive question that I haven't prepared you for. Are there differences in the people who study the 4 different species of tapir in terms of personality or anything like that? Can you, when you meet someone, can you work out what species of tapir they might be interested in most?
No, no, not really. And I have to say the tapir conservation community it's just a really special group of people. We're friendly. We like each other. We work together. We have really strong ties and partnerships. It's just we've had people join our tapir symposiums. People who work with different things come to give a talk or just to participate, and they say, "Wow, but you guys get along so well. You guys work together so well, and you share data with each other. It's a nice group. It's a really nice group of people. So I don't think we have that. No."
And to ask a leading question, do you think that's because tapirs aren't super famous? There often is a link between how famous a species is and the number of egos involved.
It could be. It could be. Yes, it could be. Yeah, tapirs don't get as much attention as many other species, and people say that it's because they're herbivores, so we're nice, we're not carnivores, and that kind of joke. But yeah, I would say that maybe that's part of it. Yes.
So, I mean, yeah, you've obviously shown that being the chair of the specialist group is a pleasure, but I mean, what skills do you think you specifically need for that role?
You have to be good at bringing people together and making sure you're able to facilitate those relationships, those partnerships. And if you know that there is a demand somewhere here, you have to make sure to make that connection with the person or the organization that could, respond to that demand. So you have to have quite a bit of experience with networking and helping people establish partnerships. I think that being able to raise funds is another skill. Because there's so many things we did as a group that we still want to do as a group that need the funding. So we have to be able to find the potential donors, the most adequate niche for the different projects, and we have to be really good at communicating. You have to be a good communicator if you're to be a chair of a specialist group. That's key. That's key. I remember when I took over from Sharon Matola, who just passed away a couple of days ago, actually. She told me, well, you have a group of, it was about 30 people, and she gave me a list, and I went through the list. I didn't know most of the people, and then I went to someone from my UCN, from the Species Survival Commission, and I was like, so what can I do with this group of people? Can I invite more people to join? What are my rights and rules? So how do I? And I remember this person telling me, well, if I were you, I would try and meet most of the people in person. So go to conferences, visit different countries, go and try and meet these people, visit their field sites, establish stronger relationships with them. And that's what I did in the very beginning, in the year 2000 something. And it worked really well.
Yeah, fantastic. So, I mean, in an average year, how much time would you say you spend in that role?
I think I had years like, I remember 2013, I think it was 13 international trips in that year for conferences and meetings and other events. But that has been changing a lot because right now the program here in Brazil, we're operating in 4 different sites. So, and it's very exciting. There's so much happening here that I'm consciously trying to travel less because I want to be here more. I want to be in the field more, and I want to spend more time with the family as well. So, yeah. It's and this is one of the things I think the legacy of this pandemic will be the possibility of doing these virtual meetings, and I think this is going to be a good thing that we'll take from the pandemic.
Yeah, I mean that'll make such a difference, especially for someone like you with those links all around the world. Yeah. So who would you say is the most interesting person you worked with in conservation?
There's so many. I always say that I have so many gurus, so many mentors, so many people that I don't know, held hands with me throughout the whole process and taught me so much. But there is this one person. His name is Rudy Rudran, Razanayaga Rudran. He's from Sri Lanka. And he used to work for the Smithsonian Institution in the US. He lived in Washington for many years in the Washington area. And Rudy was he was the person behind the Smithsonian's wildlife training program. So he developed this training courses throughout the world. So all kinds of countries, Nepal, Malaysia, Indonesia, China. I took this course in China. In Brazil, we organized the course for him, Venezuela, all over the world. And he trained thousands of people, thousands of conservation professionals they've been through this program. And he was just an amazing person to work with while we were running the program here in Brazil. And he had such a wealth of knowledge, such a clear view of what conservation should be. And so, yes, I think I would say Rudy Rudran.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well, we're getting sort of near the end, and there are various questions that I'd like to ask you that don't really link together in any way, so I'll just ask them. Obviously, as I said, you know, we're very proud of you as a DICE alumna, and just wanted to ask you, you know, when you're in at DICE in Canterbury, what was your favorite thing about being here?
Oh, the long walks. I love that. Just being in the office the whole day and working, and then the long walks around the countryside and the city itself. Just walking around the pub. I love the pub. Lots of different things. Yes, we loved Canterbury. We had an amazing time in Canterbury.
Yeah, well, hopefully you'll come back fairly soon. Once the pandemic's over. Another question, which, yeah, I was really glad that you picked up on this one, because previous people I don't think have understood. But so, which conservation related fact that people commonly get wrong can you not stop yourself correcting when you hear it?
Well, for me, it's a very specific answer, and it's very much related to tapir conservation, because lots of people here in Brazil, in other countries, people think that tapirs are anteaters. So the question I get the most is when I tell people that, so what do you do? Oh, I work on tapirs. Oh, the animals that eat ants. And so, yes, I get that a lot. And people from my family, people from Arnaud's family, it's very common. And I can't help myself. I have to educate people when I hear that. Even in zoos, sometimes you're walking around the zoo and you see somebody in front of the tapir exhibit, and they look at the animal. Oh, look, the anteater. I have to stop and talk to them. So.
So what is your approach? Are you calm? Are you passionate? How do you correct them?
It depends. I can be aggressive. No, it's very patiently. Yeah. No, you see, this is a tapir, da da da. So I have a whole conversation.
And which country would you most like to visit for the first time to see their wildlife?
Madagascar.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Indonesia. Try to see Malayan tapirs in Indonesia. Will be great.
And also wanted to ask you, as I said at the beginning, you're a TED fellow, you're a National Geographic explorer. How has that sort of fitted in with your career?
As I said, we still have lots of people who don't know what a tapir is. Lots of people who don't know what are the threats affecting tapirs. So communication is a huge part of what we do. It's a huge component of our project. And we use all kinds of tools, the web, photography, art, the media, the press. So whatever we can identify as a good tool to spread the word about the tapir conservation cause, we'll use it. And TED and National Geographic are incredible platforms when it comes to communicating your cause and being able to reach a certain audiences that you would never be able to reach as a conservationist. So yeah, that's huge. So all the publications, all the conferences, the opportunities to give talks, the opportunity to have a talk online, like my TED talk had over 1,500,000 views, which is insane. So yeah, platforms for communication and platforms for inspiration, because you meet some incredible people, some amazing human beings. If you go to a TED talk and you just sit there and you watch all these incredible, inspiring talks, it just makes you hopeful that, you know, that this is worth it.
And if you weren't a conservationist, what do you think you'd be doing?
I wouldn't be an architect. I think I would work with something like with communication, marketing, journalism, something like that. Because it's, as I said, it's something I thought I would hate, but I like it very much.
And if your job was world president, which conservation law would you bring in first?
I would make sure every person would spend, every human being on the face of the earth would spend, I don't know, X amount of time out in the woods, in nature, every, I don't know, X amount of time, every day, every week, every month. We lost that connection. I strongly believe that the big part of the big reason for the situations, the environmental problems we're dealing with right now come from that. We lost our connection with nature. So I think it would be a good thing for us to do, reconnect.
Fantastic. And where do you see conservation going in the future? Just to end on an easy question.
Yeah, super easy. No. I think that things are changing. I want to believe and that things are changing, that people are getting more and more interested, that they're trying to get more involved, that they care more. I see that happening, not only here in Brazil, throughout the world. So I'm hopeful. I'm hoping that at some point, and I hope it's in the near future, we'll just be able to create a situation where we're all going to be involved. And I think we have to be optimistic. I was just watching the new documentary by David Attenborough, where he talks about how hopeful he is, and he shows how some some of these places that were destroyed, like Chernobyl in the past, the nature always comes back. So I got a lot out of that documentary. Like, okay, let's be hopeful, and let's just work and believe that the work we're doing is going to contribute. So let's train as many people as possible just to make sure we'll keep increasing our conservation army. And let's hope that what we're seeing, people caring more and trying to get more involved, will just continue. Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. Well, I think that's the perfect place to finish. So thank you so much for spending time with us today. I know that lots of people watching would have really enjoyed hearing you talk about your amazing work, and that really inspiring message at the end. So thank you very much. And yes, to everyone watching, please stay tuned. We'll let people know, we'll let you know when the next talk is happening, and we'll look forward to seeing you on Zoom and Facebook next month. So thanks again, Patty. That was brilliant.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.